Hi guys, this is kind of a disclaimer before you start the video. So I shot the entire video and then I went back to see what it is. And I realized my face is cut off the entire video. So I'm really sorry and next time I'll plan on keeping my board in a better place. So yeah, get started with the video. I think you can still hear me. Hi guys, welcome to the second part of the video and today we'll be covering taxonomical categories and taxonomical aids. And I'm assuming this video is going to be better than the previous one because I'm shooting this in the daylight and I'm allowed to speak loudly. So yeah, let's get started. Well, we all know about taxonomical categories that we discussed in the previous class. So they're divided based on a few characteristics. Now, they're divided in a hierarchy. Now, I'll explain you what a hierarchy is. Now, each category, which is referred to as the unit of classification, represents a rank in this hierarchy. Okay, if I ask you, what are the common characteristics of insects? You would probably say the presence of 3 pairs of jointed legs because that is the common characteristic for all insects. So hence we group them in a given category and that becomes the taxa of that insect. Similarly, in binomial nomenclature, we learnt about genus name and species name. Now, genus is another category and species is another category. And today we're going to learn about how these categories are arranged in a hierarchy in an increasing order. And for that, you'll have to remember the order, but I've learned from my teacher easy way to remember it. That is, dumb kids prefer cheese over fried green spinach. Now we're going to start with spinach first. It's the lowest category and that is species. Species is a very small group of organisms which can potentially interbreed, and one organism of a species can be easily differentiated from the other. If you remember, we had the specific epithet in the binomial nomenclature. If I take the example of mango, Mangifera indica. Mangifera is the genus and Mangifera indica together forms the species. So Mangifera indica is a particular species of another huge group known as genus. Similarly, if you take Panthera leo is a species. But if you consider Panthera, the genus of this species, it can have more than one species in it. Panthera leo, Panthera tigris. Panthera tigris is nothing but tiger. So lion and tiger are included in the same genus. Similarly, if you consider Solanum tuberosum, that is potato, Solanum is the genus, but it has many other species under it. For example, Solanum tuberosum again, potato, and Solanum melongena, that is brinjal. So similarly, we have humans. Humans are Homo sapiens, as everyone knows. And now Homo is the genus name and Homo sapiens is what we are, that is the particular species. So if you understood what species are, let's move to the next category. As we all know, the next category will be genus. So spinach, green for genus. We've already covered pretty much of the genus part in species. That is, genus is basically related species like Panthera leo, Panthera tigris, Solanum tuberosum, Solanum melongena, and also all species of cats together form a particular genus known as Felis. So these are all examples from NCERT and you'll easily. The third taxonomical category, that is F, that is for fried and that stands for family. Family is a group of related genus and it has lesser similarities as compared to those of genus and species, obviously because it's a higher group. I can give you a few examples of family. Now we learned about Solanum. If you take Solanum, Petunia and Datura, these are 3 different genus and you place them in one single family called Solanaceae. Okay. Similarly, if you take Panthera, that is the lion tiger genus, and the Felis, that is the cat's genus, and put them in one family, it forms Felidae. And you always learned that lions are the same family as cats, right? And the next example we need to know is that cats and dogs are different when it comes to family. Dogs are put in the family called Candidae and cats are put in the family called Felidae. So this is one basic difference. Now let's move on to the next category, that is order. Also, one more important thing, all the plants in families are classified based on their vegetative and reproductive structures. This is a line of NCERT which is repeatedly asked. Order is the next higher category and it's based on a few aggregate of characters. It's not as similar as family and genus or species, but again, order is a bit more higher category. Now, if you ask me for an example, the example given in NCERT is Convolvulaceae family of plants and Solanaceae family that we learnt of potato, brinjal, etc. If they're placed in a single order, it's known as polymonials, and this is a very important word. It has come several times. And also, remember I told you that family of dogs and cats are different, but their order is the same. So cats and dogs are placed in the same order, that is Felidae and Candidae are placed in the same order, that is Carnivora. Okay, and this is it for order. Now we come to the next category, that is cheese for class. You might have learned class in your 9th grade, because I do remember learning. One of the order other than Carnivora is Primata. Alright, so Primata includes monkeys, gibbons, etc. When Primata and Carnivora are together grouped in a single class, that class is known as Mammalia. And we've learned about several classes in 9th grade, that is Mammalia, aves, reptiles, right? So that is class for you, and we proceed to the next category, that is phylum. Now, phylum, or as you call phylum as division in plants, if I take Mammalia, reptiles, aves, fish, and amphibians, and I place them in a given phylum, that phylum is known as Chordata due to the presence of a notochord. Alright, and for plants, this similar kind of classification is known as division instead of phylum. And that's it. Now we come to the topmost category. Actually, not exactly the topmost. But this isn't a part of NCERT. I just kept it for the sake of it. So, kids represents kingdom, and dom represents domain. You do not have to learn domain for your theory-based exam, but it's an important part for your NEET. And kingdom includes Plantae, Animalia. You know the 5 kingdom classification given by Whittaker, right? And we're going to learn about that in the next chapter too. So that's it. These are the different taxonomical categories. Now what you have to do is remember all the examples from NCERT, and there is a table on the immediate next page, an orange table if you see. That table is not as such important for your theory-based exam, but if you really want to score full, then it's important that you learn all the examples given in that table. Alright? Now we'll move to the next part of the chapter, that is taxonomical aids. Okay, now we have classified the organisms, but why have we classified them? In order to study them better, right? Now, if we have to study them, it's important that we collect and preserve them. So that's the exact job that taxonomical aids do. And if you go to the first paragraph in NCERT where taxonomical aids is given, the first 3-4 points are important because they might ask you a question, what is the importance of taxonomical aids? If you write those 3 points, you're guaranteed 3 marks. Now let's move to the first aid, that is herbarium. Now, herbarium is a storehouse of plant specimens. These plant specimens are taken, they're dried, and they're pressed on sheets, and then they're stored according to how they're classified, alright? And herbarium also, it's more like a storehouse. Alright, questions from herbarium are what is actually written on the herbarium sheets, and what, according to NCERT, all you have to remember is that the date and place of collection of the herbarium, the particular specimen, the name and family of the collector, the English, botanical, and local names of the given specimen. Also, they might ask you which of the following taxonomical aids are used as a quick referral system. Quick referral system is always herbarium. So now the second taxonomical aid is museums. We all know what museums are, right? They're these particular biological institutions set up usually in schools, colleges, universities, etc. And museums, they mostly store, biological museums, they mostly store plant and animal species. Now, the way they're stored is a very important question. Plant and animal species are usually stored in jars containing solutions that preserve their bodies, or they can also be stored as dry specimens. And sometimes insects are killed and they're stored in insect boxes. Also, plants and animals are usually stuffed with materials in order to store them so that they look fresh. And yeah, skeletons of animals, that's what you usually see in museums. So that's about it for museums. Taxonomical aid is zoo or zoological parks. There's not much you have to know about these parks, just that plants and animals, mostly actually animals, they're taken from their natural habitat and placed in a place which is similar to their natural habitat. So they create conditions as such, and they also take care of the animal, they feed it, and it's mostly an attraction for tourists, but nothing much. And we come to the most important taxonomical aid, that is, sorry for the marker, but okay. That is key. Key is a taxonomical aid used for identification of animals, and it's only based on similarities and dissimilarities between them. Key is given as a couple. So couple has two contrasting characters, and the character which is better is analyzed and chosen from it. So key is kind of analytical in nature, and each of this character in a key is known as lead. So the two important terms you have to know here are couple and lead. Can't write, man. Okay. And yeah, I don't think there's much to understand in keys anyways. You should also know that there are separate keys for each taxonomical category, that is species, genus, etc. Now we come to the end of the chapter, the last paragraph. This is also one place where questions are asked from in this chapter, that is flora, manuals and monographs. Flora, as you know, is a term used for plants in general. So it just gives you an account of all the plants given present in a given area, in a given habitat. And manual is again about the organisms present in a given habitat. What is important is monographs. Monographs give information about one single taxa. This is a question which is repeatedly asked, so like keep in mind. So we're done with the chapter. Now I'll just give you a few tips on how to read chapters in general. So what we do, what I've seen people do is they buy a lot of reference books, they go for tuitions, and you know, all of that is actually not necessary. In 11th grade, I did not go for any tuitions, but 12th grade, it was, I don't know, I had to go for some reason. But again, I think you can manage 11th grade without any tuitions, and what you have to do is read NCERT. That's it. That's literally it. You start NCERT, you read line by line, you read every diagram. If you want full, then there's nothing other than reading NCERT. So I want all of you to read this chapter properly, even if they haven't started it in your school. And I'll be coming up with a few questions for this chapter the next class. That is when I'm going to start the second chapter. And I hope you all like this video, and if you really think that this could help someone, then please send it over to them. Thank you so much for watching.